My name is Brian Edmund. Today I'm going to show you how to convert a gas garden tractor to an electric garden tractor that will cut up to 2 acres of grass on a 50-cent charge. Also, it will pull a trailer for about 8 to 10 hours on a charge. To do this, I purchased a used garden tractor Husqvarna from a small engine repair shop for $50.
This is the used gasoline powered Husqvarna tractor I bought from a local small engine repair shop for $50. The engine was no good and we were really just buying the wheels and the frame, which is all we need. The first steps of disassembly is we remove the seats and then the hood and then we remove the engine. Then we remove the cutting deck so we can clean it up and paint it a little bit. We remove the cutting arbors from the middle so we can install the electric motors in them 2 holes there. The final step in disassembly is we can remove all the old wiring and starter solenoids and things that were on there. We can remove springs and pulleys and linkages that were for the cutting deck and the belts, as we don't need them anymore. We can remove the gas tank and the transmission at the back, as we don't need that. I was able to sell my old transmission out of here, which was an hydrostatic transmission. I was able to put it on Kijiji and sell it. So I think I made $75 on the transaxle, which more than paid for the tractor.
Now here we are at this point. We've got the battery box welded onto the frame of the tractor, where we cut the old rear end off, and we've bolted underneath here, we've bolted the complete transaxle and drive motor unit right to the bottom of the battery box. And for now we've just put the old wheels back on. We may eventually buy new tyres for there. So now that's the drive system pretty well finished. At the front here we've installed a plastic battery box, because it's not really that important. It's just to stop the batteries sliding around. These batteries that I've got in here are just some old ones I'm using for testing with, but the actual box is a size big enough to get the 4 12-volt 120 amp hour batteries in there. So now we've got the drive unit bolted on the back, we come to the electrical wiring part. Down here we have the speed controller, which is all electronic, and we have the cutter motor control, and then the wiring in between. Now then, this wiring looks all complicated, but what we do is we assemble it with step-by-step instructions in the set of plans that you can get, that shows all the details of how everything is put together and how to wire every wire one step at a time, referenced to a photograph. Okay, so now we've got all the wiring installed and the 4 little batteries in there that are just for a test. So let's just see if everything's working okay. So we've got no seat on it yet, but we can sit on here, and I turn the key on, which, as you can see, the little light comes on, but there's no noise for the ignition. Move, doggy, get the dog out of the way. Go on. So now I'll just try it. Oh yeah, we seem to be going fine. We can only move it slow in here, but as you can see, everything seems to be working. And the reverse. On this one, it's mounted with a foot pedal. And as you see, we have variable speed, tremendous control of it. And as soon as you let go, the brake comes on. So everything seems to be working fine. I'll turn it off again. This is the cutting deck I took off the Husqvarna gas tractor I bought, and as you can see, I cleaned it all up and I painted it. And then I took all the original cutting arbors and bearings, I took them all out and threw them away. We don't want them. Actually, I sold them. I didn't throw them away. I sold them. I think I got $50 for the 2 cutting arbors. Anyway, then these electric motors, I've installed the 2 electric motors with just 4 volts. And then underneath there, I can't lift it up right now, but underneath there is the cutter blades bolted onto the directly on the electric motor. So now we have no belts, we have no pulleys, We have no transmission in the back with oil in or anything else. We have no oil on the entire tractor. The gearbox is packed with grease for the life of the machine. These have got sealed ball bearings in, so there's nothing to lubricate. We just have to sharpen the blades about once a year. Now, we've wired the two motors together and we've used the stove cable. And the stove cable plug is connected, when we install this on the tractor, the stove cable plugs into the tractor PTO, which is the power takeoff on an electric tractor, isn't just an electrical outlet, a 50 amp electrical outlet, and it just plugs straight into the tractor. Very easy to remove, or if you want to work on it, you just make sure you've unplugged it and there's no danger of the blades starting up. This is ready to be installed on the tractor now. I bolted the seat onto the back deck with the fenders and everything, and I'm just installing this back onto the tractor over the battery box. Now, of course, we will have the proper batteries will be installed in there when it's completed, but right now I just want to make sure everything fits properly. So we put this on, it slides on like that. There, that's it. Now then, I just have to bolt the two springs in here. Okay, we just bolt the springs down there, and that that gives the seat switch something to sit on. It also cushions for the driver, and it provides the seat switch which disables the tractor. Okay, this is just a cover for the electronics to keep any water out. So this was made out of just a thin piece of Perspex or Lexan, and you warm up the corners with the electric heating element. I just warm the element up and I lay this on and bend it over to bend the corners. But you can do it with a heat gun or anything like that too. Anyway, this just goes down there, slides underneath there, and then I have two screws that just hold that on, and it keeps any water from splashing on the speed controller. Or the other wiring is not really that important because it's only low voltage, so a little bit of water, although you don't want it on there, it won't actually harm the operation of the tractor. Okay, now this bar that was bolted onto the front of the tractor when I bought it was for lifting the tractor out when it got stuck, because the weight of the gas engine on the front here was so heavy and no weight on the back that the tractor continually got stuck, and so they put this on so you can keep lifting the front wheels out of the mud when it got stuck. With an electric tractor, the balance of the driving wheels and the front wheels is perfectly balanced. You'll very, very unlikely ever get the tractor stuck. Anyway, now we're just going to put the hood back on to complete this part of the project. And the hood is really easy to go on. It just slides into two notches there, like that. And there's the tractor pretty well finished, ready to have the cutting deck installed. And of course, when it's all finished, it will be cleaned up and painted if you wish, or just polished. So we're ready now to put the cutting deck on. The first thing is we just have to reinstall the wheels back on the cutting deck. This particular model, they are adjustable. Then we'll put the front roll back on. Okay, now we're ready to put the cutting deck on. Put it down there. The tractor ready to put the deck on. We'll move it up the way a little bit. Okay, that should be all right there. Mind, Cindy. Okay, that's the pins all installed. Now I've just got to plug this in. Instead of the cutter being a belt drive now, it's a power takeoff of an electric kind. So it just plugs in like that. And that's the cutter deck installed. No belts, no pulleys, no springs. Got the cutter deck installed. Okay. We'll take it over to the lawn and give it a test. Lower the cutter deck and I'll just turn it on. I noticed how quick the cutter blade stopped. That would also happen if I fell off the tractor and the seat came up. The tractor would stop and apply the parking brake, and the cutters would stop within about 2 seconds. So everything seems to be working fine. We'll go and put it back in the shop. Get rid of it. Conversion of the tractor, except for a few small things like now the engine is gone and the electric motors are pretty quiet. Things like this becomes a problem now, is rattling wheels, which is fairly easy to fix, and we'll get around to that eventually. The other thing that you should consider, some of the important things when you're converting to electric. One of the most important is the runtime on the batteries. We want to use the cheap batteries, lead acid batteries if we can, and get the best runtime out of them possible. So, in other words, we have to have the most efficient design that we can come up with. We've got to have no belts, no pulleys, no hydraulics, no great big motor running at full speed driving hydraulic pumps all the time. We want the smallest motors possible. We have the electric motor on the drive axle at the back that only runs at the speed that you need it to go. It's a direct drive. We have the cutter motors, which are really small, and they only actually draw higher current when they're cutting thicker grass. When they're cutting thinner grass, the current is lower. So these are very efficient. The speed control. Hydraulics is just a waste of energy, about 20% efficient. We use electronic speed control, which is about 90% efficient, something like that, maybe 95. The battery location. The batteries are very heavy. In a tractor, you want weight. A lot of garden tractors and tractors put weights on the wheels and stuff like that, and they add big steel castings and stuff. What we do is we put the 2/3 of the weight of the tractor on the back wheels, which are the driving wheels. We have the electric motor and the transmission on the back wheels. We have 2 of the 4 batteries right on the back wheels, as low as possible. And then we have the operator, the weight of him also on the back wheels. On the front, we have the weight of 2 batteries, so that this is enough so that the front wheels don't tip off the ground when you're going up a hill, towing a trailer or something. So we have, but it's enough weight on the back wheels that we don't need any extra weight and wheel weights and things like that. Safety is another thing. By keeping the batteries as low as possible. You don't want the batteries up high here if you can get them. We want them as low as possible. These are fairly low. These ones are even lower. The batteries as low as possible, so give it good stability on grades and things like that. As far as safety is concerned, when you, or if you fall off the tractor for some reason on a grade or something like that, as soon as you fall off the tractor, everything should shut off. The blades should stop going within a couple of seconds. The tractor's drive motor should stop, and it should apply a parking brake so it doesn't roll down the hill. That's pretty important. The charging. The charger should be an automatic feature, an automatic charger that's designed that it can't damage the batteries, so that the batteries will last probably 7 years. This particular tractor on these batteries will cut up to 2 acres of grass on a charge which costs about 50 cents. We spent many weeks designing and perfecting this tractor, so for anybody who's interested and wants to build it, we sell a set of plans and step-by-step instructions on our website, electrictractor.net.